Alright, hello everyone and welcome to my 2025 NFL prediction video. So we have a lot to get into. Today is September 4th, 2025. First game of the season tonight will be the Philadelphia Eagles, your defending Super Bowl champions, taking on the Dallas Cowboys. That game will be on your local NBC station and also streaming on Peacock. Then tomorrow, second year in a row, we have a game taking place in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And that game will be on YouTube. It'll be the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Los Angeles Chargers, followed by the full Week 1 slate, which is set to begin this Sunday, September 7th. So without further ado, let's get into my predictions. Now, last year, when I showed this helmet, I was disgusted with the Chiefs winning 2 Super Bowl championships in a row. They always seem to be in the Super Bowl. They are the mighty, mighty kingdom. The only reason why I'm going to go with them as the 1 seed in the AFC, it's obvious. I mean, they could likely go 15-2 or 16-1 or what, 14-3 or 13-4, and it'll still have a 1 seed. But just for discussion's sake, let's go with the Chiefs going with a, I would say, I'm going to do a conservative here. So I'll do 15-2 for Kansas City. Obviously, we know it's all about Pat Mahomes. We know it's all about Travis Kelce, right? But, I mean, you still got Isaiah Pacheco. Kareem Hunt, he's questionable, but I would think he'll be fine. He'll come back. I mean, the wide receiver depth is good because you have Rashee Rice, you have Juju Smith-Schuster, you have Xavier Worthy, you have Marquise Hollywood Brown. Now, he's questionable, but he could come back. So, I'm going to say the Chiefs still are your number 1 seed in the AFC. So now with that being all said, I'm going to go into the reason why I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to be the 2 seed in the AFC. So I'm going to say Chiefs for conservative numbers. We're going to go 15-2 because, again, they're the Chiefs. Of course, they're going to win the most games. Baltimore will go with a record of 14-3. So why am I going to go with the Baltimore Ravens with a 14-3 record? Well, I'm just going to be honest here. We know why the Ravens are the Baltimore Ravens, because they have Lamar Jackson. All right? And the thing with Baltimore you have to understand is that they just got DeAndre Hopkins. Okay? That's a huge acquisition for Lamar Jackson. So he's going to have Rashad Bateman. He's going to have St. Flowers. So you're going to have a very dangerous threat in the wide receiver group. And then again, if you look at the Ravens running backs, they have Derrick Henry, they have Justice Hill, they have Keaton Mitchell. Tight end, you're going to have Mark Andrews coming back, Isaiah Likely. And remember, you have the best fullback in the whole league, which is Patrick Ricard. He's always a Pro Bowl threat. So, I'm just going to be honest here. I would think Baltimore will go 14-3, and they will win their division, no question about it. So I'm going to go with a conservative approach and just say that the Ravens are going to go 14-3. Now we move on to the, I'm going to say it now, you're going to see it, Buffalo Bills. So why are the Buffalo Bills going to go 13-4 or 12-5 and win their division? Well, it's obvious because you have Josh Allen. It's so obvious. And remember, they do have a decent backup. We talked about Mitch Trubisky. So again, the Bills are prepared as a franchise if something were to happen to Josh Allen, which we hope not, because Josh just got married to his longtime girlfriend, Haley. So they did get married in the offseason, and congratulations to them. But you still have James Cook. Wide receiver depth I don't know. I mean, will Khalil Shakur be ready? I mean, you have Elijah Moore. You have Keon Coleman. You have Josh Palmer. Dalton Kincaid, I think, is their top tight end. But I know Buffalo's offense pretty well. Most times you'll see Allen throw it. We'll see what happens, but I'm still going to assume that 12, 13 wins is a good conservative number for Buffalo going into the season. So I'm going to go with them only because I think it's a more realistic expectation. All right. So I know I'm going to get a lot of flack, and I know I'm putting way too many expectations for this team in particular to win 10 games and maybe sneak into the playoffs, win their division. But here's why I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to go back to the playoffs. And I think there's two reasons. One, I really think Trevor Lawrence is going to be hungry this year. And I think a 10 or 11 win season will solidify the disappointment that the Jacksonville Jaguars did have last season. And the other reason why I think there's pressure on the Jaguars, you got to remember, they just fired their last head coach. They have a new coach in Liam Cohen. And I really think that Liam Cohen is ready for this. I have a lot of expectations. This guy is only 40 years old. Okay? He's only 40. But he's had experience being the offensive coordinator last year to Baker Mayfield in Tampa. So I think at some point you're looking at a situation where I'm sorry, I under no circumstances do not see the Houston Texans winning their division again. Why do I think the Texans are going to win their division when you're going to have a super hungry Trevor Lawrence coming in? He's looking for revenge. He's going to be very hungry this year. And do I like the depth on the Jaguars? I mean, maybe Inite will be good. I mean, I hope Travis Hunter will be ready. I hope Brian Thomas will be there. But at the end of the day, and again, when I look at, I'm sorry. I'm just being biased here. If the Jaguars do not make the playoffs this season, then it's really time to blow it up. And it's going to prove the point that Trevor Lawrence was a bust. And I want to see Trevor succeed. I know I have a lot of bias about Trevor because, I watched him at Clemson when he was in college. So I get there's an expectation for him to perform in the NFL. But I'm just going to put the Jaguars, for argument's sake, I'll give them a 10-7 record or an 11-6 record. And they will win the AFC South Division. So now we move on to my playoff prediction, my wild cards. So who am I going to go in terms of wild cards? Well, this has been a pretty controversial way of looking at how I think it will go this season. But for argument's sake, and I've been looking at this roster for a specific team, I really think the Denver Broncos are going to be back in the playoffs this season. So I will give them a conservative record of 11-6, which will get them the top wild card. Now, here's the reason why I think the Denver Broncos will be in the playoffs. I think Bo Nix proved himself last season. I really think Bo is ready to take this team back to the playoffs. They just got J.K. Dobbins. They have a good tight end in Evan Ingram. And I think with Courtland Sutton coming in, I'm just being realistic. I think the Denver Broncos can prove to you that they can be a legitimate playoff team. A team that can make it in. Can they compete for a championship? You're not like the elite teams like, Buffalo or Kansas City or Baltimore that are supposed to be legitimate competitive teams, but I don't know, guys. It's, I just think it's very possible that you could have that as a factor, okay? So next up, I'm going to go, and I'm sorry, but I have to really think, why is this team going to make the playoffs? And I know I'm controversial for suggesting this idea, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for it. And I know it's going to sound, I'm going to see this team pop up in a second here, but here's the reason why I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to make it's obvious. It's Aaron Rodgers. I think there's a lot of pressure for Aaron Rodgers to perform in Pittsburgh this season. They just got DJ Metcalf in Pittsburgh. So the Steelers really revamped their team in the offseason. All right? Now, what I would have done as the Pittsburgh Steelers front office, I would have kept Justin Fields. Because Justin had improved quarterback play last season. And maybe the Steelers could have went further with... And trust me, what I would have done during the losing streak last season, I know I'm controversial, I would have benched Wilson just because, especially after the Christmas Day game. I would have benched him. Again, after that disaster against the Chiefs, I would have benched him. So now you're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers. But here's the thing. If you have Jaylen Warren can do some things. I hope Calvin Austin will be ready. I hope Robert Woods will, we'll see. We'll see. But there's just too many expectations for the Steelers. Now that you have Aaron Rodgers in there. Again, you have Mike Tomlin, who's been coaching that team now for, 20-something years already? I mean, where's the time gone? It just seemed yesterday he was a young guy coaching Ben Roethlisberger. So, yes, I think at the end of the day, I'm going to give the Pittsburgh Steelers... So this is where I'll rank the Steelers in terms of, where I'll put them at. So I think the Steelers will be the 7, because there will be another team from the AFC North that will also get in, and I think it's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. So you'll have 3 teams in the AFC North that'll make the playoffs. I'm going to go Baltimore, obvious, they'll win the division. Steelers, because I think Aaron Rodgers... I really think with Mike Tomlin, and if he makes the right decisions, and we're going to talk about the Bengals right now. So let's get into the Bengals. Why do I think the Cincinnati Bengals will also get in with a 10-7 record, or maybe 11-6 if they get lucky? All right. It's obvious. Joe Burrow almost got Cincinnati into it last season late. Joe Burrow's going to be hungry, guys. I mean, look. They still have a couple of their core guys from the Super Bowl run that they made a couple of years ago. They still got Jamari Chase. They still got T. Higgins. I mean, I like to see what Chase Brown could do in the running back position. Mike Gesicki, their top tight end. I don't know what will happen. We'll see, but I'm just being realistic that I think you could see 3 teams in the AFC North and the Denver Broncos get. I'm just being realistic here. I just think that will be what I think will happen. So there you have it. Now we can move on to the NFC. Oh boy, that was fun. I had so much fun talking about the AFC this year. I can't believe it. Oh, by the way, as far as my Jets are concerned, Before we move on, I like how they brought in Justin Fields this year. I want to see improvement. I think if we can get lucky enough, we might win 6 or 7 games. I don't know, but I think the 5-win margin is too low for this team. I think maybe 6 wins is more realistic. So anyhow, let's go to the NFC. Obvious why I'm going Philadelphia as your 1 seed. They will either go 15-2 or 14-3. So here's the reason why I'm going to go with the obvious answer of why Philadelphia is Philadelphia. Philadelphia, we know they've just won the Super Bowl. We know they got Jalen Hurts. We know they got Saquon Barkley, who could probably rush for 9,000 yards if he gets lucky. Sorry, I know. I want to make the Mike Francesa joke, but if you know what the 9,000 yards joke is, it's something. But in reality, Philadelphia, defending champions. Also, I want to mention, in terms of the receivers, remember, you still got A.J. Brown, you still got Devontae Smith. They're questionable, but I think they'll be fine. You'll see them. Dallas Goedert. Yeah, wasn't he on the team last year? Yeah, I think he was, obvious, because I know they were showing him on the Fox graphics, so I think I'll go with them. So they will be your number 1 seed in the NFC this season. Next up, we're going to go to the Los Angeles Rams. So I think the Rams, if lucky, I think they will go with a record of 12-5 or 13-4 as the 2 seed in the AFC, in the NFC North. Now, if you know the Rams very well, you know they have Matthew Stafford. But here's the part where Matthew Stafford's going to have something big. He's going to have Davante Adams. Now remember, Davante had a pretty disappointing season with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets last season. So I think going into Los Angeles is going to be a good scene for him. I really think with Matthew Stafford, Tutu Atwell, you have Puka Nacua, you have Tyler Higbee, a tight end, Kyren Williams, the running back. So I think the Rams, because again, Stafford has won a Super Bowl. Now, okay, maybe if Stafford's injured, the good news is, can Jimmy Garoppolo come back and prove that he was worthy of, taking the 49ers to a Super Bowl? Because again, Jimmy G has that experience. So you do have good depth in the quarterback position. Stetson Bennett, I don't know, but I think Jimmy Garoppolo would be best case scenario if Matthew Stafford's not ready to play week 1. But even then, if Stafford comes back, because again, Matthew has experience. He knows what he's doing. He's won a Super Bowl. So he knows what it takes to win. So Rams are going to be your 2 seed going in. And again, I think 12-5, 13-4 would be a conservative record. Now, this is what I don't get with a lot of these experts. Why are they putting down the Detroit Lions? I just don't get it. Look, I know Aaron Glenn, their top defensive coordinator, just took the New York Jets head coach job, but you still got good players. So I think the NFC North is going to be a little bit tighter, only because you do have the threat of the Green Bay Packers. And I'll get into the reason why Green Bay will be in the playoffs. So why do I think Green Bay and maybe Chicago might get in? I'll talk about that in a second. So anyhow, I think the division's going to be tough this year. I think if I were to give a number for the Lions this year, I think I'll go best case scenario, 12 wins. Mid-card scenario, 11 wins. Worst case scenario, 10 wins for the Detroit Lions. They'll still get in, but I don't know. I mean, I just think that a lot of people are putting down the Lions this season. I don't know why. I'm very disappointed in a lot of these experts that don't know what they're talking about. It's just disappointing. It really, really is. And unfortunately, we do have to pick a winner in the NFC South, or the NFC Dirty South, as I say. I call it the Dirty South because nobody wants to win more than 9 games. So yes, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, yeah, they're going to win 9 games. Yeah, they're going to end up winning their division again. Yeah. That's how it works in that division. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I have to keep doing the LA Knight thing, but you know why I'm doing it, because that's how this division always works every single year. But in reality, I've never heard of this guy in a running back position before. So going into their season, the top running back is going to be Bucky Irving. Who is this guy? If you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, please comment below, because I have no idea who this guy is. But yeah, you still got the Tom Brady receivers. You still got Mike Evans. You still got Chris Goodwin. Oh, by the way, Goodwin is questionable. Actually, no, I think Goodwin... Yeah, right. Is he? Yeah, he's... Oh, yeah, he's out. So you're going to be down a wide receiver for a bit. Ugh. So he's out. Look. I just think for discussion's sake, you have to put Tampa as a 9-win team. Because again, that division's terrible. Every team stinks in that NFC South. That's why I call it the Dirty South Division. So 9-8. Just get them off the screen. Get them off the screen. Please, please, please. Okay. Now, let's get back to the NFC North. So why do I think the Green Bay Packers will be back in the playoffs? So I think they will win their division. No, my bad. Excuse me. They will win the wild card spot. I think it'll be 10, 11, or 12 wins. Obviously, we know about Jordan Love. Jordan keeps getting better every single year. I mean, Jordan keeps improving, which is good. Now, he is questionable for week 1. So, will Malik Willis start week 1? That's a good question. I hope not, but we'll see. Now, you do have Josh Jacobs, your top running back. You have Jaden Reed. He's questionable, too, for week 1. Then you got Mike Golden, Romeo Doubs, Tucker Kraft. I don't know. I mean, could be pretty difficult. But I think the Packers will find a way to figure it out. They always do, and I think when Jordan does come back, or if he is starting week 1, I don't know, but that could be pretty... We'll see, but I have faith in Jordan. I really do like Jordan. I just think Jordan can prove himself to you this year. Alright, now, let's get into the reason why I think the San Francisco 49ers will make the playoffs. So, on average, some of these teams will win 10, 11, or 12 games if they get lucky. Obviously, we know about Brock Purdy. Obviously, we know about Christian McCaffrey. We know about Brandon Ayuk. Now, Demarcus Robinson, what a dumb way to get suspended, right? So you have Juwan Jenkins, George Kittle, one of the other best fullbacks in the league. You got Kyle Juszczyk. So I think if things go one way, maybe for argument's sake, you could look at a very competitive NFC West divisional race between San Francisco and the Rams. Very competitive division, don't get me wrong here. So, for argument's sake, 10, 11, 12 wins. Maybe if you get lucky, you'll get 13 wins if things go right. But the 49ers do have a good roster, so do the Rams. So I think San Francisco will get into the playoffs. So now this is where I make another controversial pick for who will sneak into the playoffs. And I think, and I know I sound controversial for maybe making this idea. I don't know. I can't say if this will be right or wrong here. And I know I've really had to think it through, right? But I think there's one team in the NFC North that needs to take that next step and maybe get in with 9 or 10 wins if they get lucky. And I think it's the Chicago Bears. Why do I think the Chicago Bears will make the playoffs? I think after last season's disappointment with that hot start that they had with the rookie quarterback Caleb Williams, I think the Chicago Bears will be the last wild card team remaining. I'm not believing Seattle. I like Seattle's roster, but I don't believe in Sam Darnold. I'm sorry. I just don't. I think there's too much pressure on the kid in Chicago. He has to make the playoffs. Not when, again, you were off to a hot start last season. Imagine if the Bears didn't fold last season. They could have easily been in the playoffs. History will say that the 2024 Chicago Bears are that one team that looked good to start. And I'm telling you, I think after that loss to Washington, to the Commanders, I think that's when they folded. They need to take the next step. I'm sorry. If Caleb Williams does not get you into the playoffs as a wild card team this season, as a Bears fan, you're left shaking your head wondering, we ended up picking another bust? You guys are going to look at yourselves and wonder, we drafted Justin Fields. Didn't work out. You don't want to go into another season where you're shaking your head and you're wondering, Caleb Williams is a bust. I hope not, for your argument's sake. You don't want to blow up another team again, but you folks in Chicago are so used to disappointment. It's like the Jets. I compare it to how bad the Jets always get disappointed. So, Chicago Bears, 9-8, 10-7. If I were to give the Packers a realistic number, I think I will put Green Bay with a, let's just go 10-7. And for San Francisco's sake, I will say 12 wins, 5 losses, 13 wins, 4 losses to go into the season. So there you have it. Those are my 2025 NFL predictions. We went a good half hour talking about how I feel about this season. So I'll make a controversial Super Bowl. I never do Super Bowl picks, but I'll go ahead and just fast forward ahead. So I think the Super Bowl this season will be a very interesting matchup. I think it will be the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know. I'm just going to make a random prediction. That would be my dream Super Bowl matchup. I hope it does happen, but we'll see. We'll see. By the way, for the Giants, I want to acknowledge them because there are Giant fans who are watching who are from New York and watch my channel. I'm going to go with the Jets numbers again. I'll go 5, 6, or 7 wins. Obviously, Tommy DeVito got cut. That was expected. So you're going to have Russell Wilson starting week 1. You'll have Jackson Dart, the rookie. And then, of course, you have Jameis Winston. So not a lot of high expectations for the Giants. But that's where I'll put the Giants, for argument's sake, for the win totals 5, 6, or 7 wins, just like the Jets. So that's it, guys. Remember, the season starts tonight, September 4th. Remember, you have the Eagles taking on the Cowboys, NBC Peacock, and then tomorrow, Friday, you have Chiefs versus Chargers here on YouTube. And then remember, the week 1 slate will begin this Sunday, September 7th. So thank you all for watching and enjoy the madness that is the National Football League.